once again.
Hello again, it's Jimmy here at O'Reilly's. Come to look at a Land Rover Range Rover Evoque. Okay, so I'm inside the vehicle. We have an engine management light on. Let's start it up and have a look. Over here. So we have got a low fuel level there as well. Now, this was recommended to me by a lovely AA man. I don't know who he was, but customer told me that he was recommended to call me by him. We've got that sign there, exhaust filter full. Okay, I'm using my Launch Eurotab 3 scan tool and going to search the ECM. We'll read the fault codes. So we've got a P2463 and a P2BAE-00 NOx Exceedance. So this one is for the Adblue basically. If you let the Adblue level go too low, that will trigger that off. Other than that, very rarely you could have, you know, various other problems that are causing a NOx exceedance, like a worn out catalytic converter or your Adblue injector is blocked. So okay, we've got these two codes. I pretty much know what I need to do. Let's go back and have a look at some data stream or live data. Now, a few items I want to look at is the Soot calculation. Yeah. Differential pressure of the DPF. Yeah, we'll look at those two. So, vehicle idling, we have 30 millibars of pressure, 103% on the DPF. Let's hold the revs up a little bit. Say around 3000 RPM. We have 260 millibars of pressure. So that needs to be, ideally, that should be reading 0 because we are in 10 increments here. So you got 30, 40, 50, 60. So anything under 10 millibars. So if you've got 8 or 9 millibars of pressure, it'll read 0. It'll only read 10 once you go above 10 millibars of pressure. So ideally we should have in this 3 or 4 millibars of pressure on idle, and that should read a 0. When we're holding it at 3000 RPM, we should have around about 40 there, not 270. So the mileage on this is 27,000, and it is a 2017 car, so it's doing very, very low miles, and that is the reason why it's blocked up. There is no other reason behind it. I've done loads of these, and I don't need to do any further diagnostic tests on this one because I know what the problem is. Now, one other thing I can do is check the Adblue level. Now, he said he did get a warning on for the countdown of the Adblue, the mileage for the Adblue, and he put 5 litres in and the warning went away. So let's just check how much Adblue is in the system. I still don't believe that these just don't have a little, you know, they should have surely a little gauge here for the Adblue letting you know how much are in it, but no. So we'll check the Adblue level here with the scan tool. Now on these you can't overfill it as well as letting it go too low. But if we want that fault code to clear for the NOx exceedance, we have to make sure that we have, I think, at least 10 litres of Adblue in here. Now I think usually they will go off with maybe 6 litres of Adblue, but I like to put it up to maybe 10 litres just to be sure. Okay, tank capacity is 15.8 litres and it needs another 7.7 litres. So if I just whack 5 litres, maybe 6 in it, that'll be fine. But yeah, it's okay at the minute, you know, it's okay. It's got enough in there, but I like to get it above 10 litres just to make sure. Okay, well, let's press cancel on that. Don't want to clear the codes just yet. Right, so I'm underneath the vehicle here. This is the DPF that we're looking at. So there's 2 ways you can get in to clean this. One of them would be to open the Adblue injector. It's probably easier to do that as long as the clip doesn't break. That bolt there gets very rusted and they can just break very, very easily. The second option is to come up here Right up there you got the two black rubber hoses for the DPF differential pressure sensor. Right there. So you can disconnect that, get your fluid in there to clean it out. So on this one I want to have a look at the Adblue injector anyway, so we're going to do it this way. I've done it both ways. Most of the time I just go through the sensor, but you got a couple of 10mm bolts there on this cross member bracket. Get those open. And we've already opened the other side, and now we can just push that to the side there. Now it's a little bit easier just to get a straight access onto this bolt. Okay, we've got the Adblue injector off. We've just opened the little clamp there. To be honest, this is one of the cleanest ones I've seen in a while. Just only a very minor amount of soot there that needs to be picked off. What I can see there, can't really get it to focus, but the actual port that it goes into is blocked up. So that is that port there. We can't really, when I get the camera too close it doesn't really focus very good, but basically we've got a blockage right here. There we go. Some of it off. So just use a little pick tool just to get all of that out of there. So it's basically just like a sort of like scale that you get in a kettle. It looks like that. Okay, so now I've got my compressor here, DPF cleaning gun from Launch UK, and the Launch UK DPF cleaning fluid that goes into this gun. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the probe into this hole where the Adblue injector came out of. Just like that. Squeeze the trigger, spray the cleaning fluid in there. Okay, now we've used all of the fluid. It's a little bit of it backing out there. Okay, put the clips back in. Bolts back in on the cross frame there. Okay, now we've got all the fluid in there, everything's back together. In case I didn't mention, this is the 2-litre Ingenium engine, so the Euro 6. Right, let's get in the vehicle now and start it up. Okay, let's start the vehicle. We'll hold the revs up again, 3000 RPM. And we shall keep an eye on the DPF pressure. Let's graph that up. So you get the DPF pressure over here. Particle filter soot loading is on this side. Now that may be locked in, so that might not decrease until I reset default. You can see there the live pressure coming down. Once we've got that down around sort of 50 millibars, we should be good to go. 40 millibars, 50 millibars, something like that. Now anything under 100 millibars is considered to be acceptable. But we'll hold the revs here for another few minutes and that should drop a little bit further. Now you can see if we let the vehicle idle down, that goes down to 0 millibars. So once we're there, we can now go back from the live data, switch the engine off and ignition on. Now we're going to go to special functions on this tool and exhaust emission. diesel particle filter replacement. Now it hasn't been replaced, but this is just a way to reset the settings of the DPF here. Now it's going to clear the fault codes. Do you wish to continue? Yes, we can do that. Okay, now that's all done successfully. So now if we exit that and we come back to the faults, if we go back in here now, these faults should be cleared. Oh, we need to switch the ignition on. Let's try that again. Read the fault codes and they are clear. Now if we start the vehicle up, engine management lights should be gone and the DPF warning. Now that all that's reset, we can now get the revs up full, so the revs aren't limited anymore, or the vehicle's not in what you call a limp mode. So now if we accelerate the vehicle up, you'll see a lot of smoke coming up, because now the DPF's going to get hot, and we've got obviously a wet liquid in there which is going to produce this vapour. And your neighbours are going to love this, but what can you do? It'll only last a couple of minutes. Okay, so we've got another 5 litres of Adblue in there. So now I'm just going to take the vehicle on a test drive. Okay, so after a test drive now, we have the Soot at 0, 3000 RPM, we have 60 millibars of pressure. So now we can exit the live data. And we can go to the fault codes, make sure that the fault codes haven't returned. That's it, we're all finished, and I'll see you on the next video.